Welcome to Speaking of Spirituality, a podcast to share about the path of spiritual awakening. I'm your host, Amelia McLean, and I am so excited to be showcasing some inspiring stories and exploring some interesting topics, all under the umbrella of spirituality. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, so this is my first podcast episode of just me talking, where I'm using a video camera on my phone also instead of just recording my voice. So if you are listening to this on a platform that is not YouTube, you should hop on over to YouTube so that you can see my face and connect with me even more in that way. I have been guided recently to show my face more in videos that I'm making. And yeah, this is an interesting process for me because I've worked through a lot of fear of having my face on the screen due to some like cyberbullying type situations when I was really young, and probably shouldn't have been using social media when I was. So anyway, this is a big, huge healing process for me in sharing this intimate way in video. So thank you for watching if you're watching on YouTube. And this is definitely not like an ego-driven thing for me. This is definitely more astrological. I'm a Leo sun sign, so it feels so weird to even say it, but like being in the spotlight, or if that's how you want to think of it, is something that Leos like. And so I put a little bit of makeup on tonight for you. And yeah, I'm just feeling into it, letting it be fun and feel good. Yeah, because in the past this would have been very challenging for me. So I'm definitely overcoming some big obstacles. So yeah, once again, thank you for being along with me on this journey. And I've just got a new fancy tripod with a light and a microphone. So I hope that I look nice and bright and that you can hear me really well. And yeah, so let's jump right in. So for this week's podcast episode, I really felt like I wanted to share about the Crystalline Collective studio and how I got into that venture and how it all unfolded. And it was very divinely guided. So, but the story really starts back during COVID times, a long time ago. No, yeah, so 2021, and right after COVID started, when the lockdowns started, and people were being quarantined and separated and all of that, I was never afraid of the virus or whatever, and I felt like it was really going to be really terrible to have everybody separated. You know, I know people that suffer from loneliness and depression, and I thought, you know, there's so many people experiencing that, and just what a terrible situation to then have that be even further ingrained, or like, you know, because anyway, I could go on and on, but yeah, I just saw how it was going to be really bad to have everyone separated. And so I started sharing about how everyone's all connected all the time, and then I wanted to feel even more connected. So I started, I was guided to lead women's circles, and they were not moon circles actually though when they started. They very quickly transformed into moon circles, but I started doing oracle. They were actually oracle circles. They were weekly gatherings on Zoom, and it was like a group oracle reading. So I would bring everybody into the Zoom room, and I would have each individual person come forward with a question, that's something that they had that they were looking for guidance on, and then I would pull an oracle card for them. And that was how it started, and it was so amazing. what started to happen, and I very quickly wanted to start adding like ritual elements, and then I started doing moon circles. So I did every 2 weeks on the new moon and the full moon, and that was awesome. And then shortly after that, someone asked me if I had thought about hosting them in person. And I was already comfortable at that point, like being around other people. Like I said, I was never afraid of getting sick or anything. So, and I found that a lot of my friends who were in the area that I live in were also of that same mindset. They really did want to be still getting together with people. And so I started leading the moon circles at my house. Outside around a fire, which was so magical. Luckily, it was like summertime when we started doing that, and so the weather was good. And then we formed a beautiful group of women who were coming regularly to the circles, and it was so healing for everybody to have that time and space to connect in person and to just talk. And we did just talking circles most of the time. I had like questions that I would ask that were based on the astrology, and we would just talk and have a sacred sharing space, and it was so magical, so needed, and really moved a lot of people, I think. And then we all were just having such a good time in sisterhood together in community that we decided to take a trip to Mount Shasta, and that was so awesome. Also, we did a camping trip, and I had just found out that I was pregnant like right before that camping trip. And then during the camping trip and shortly before that, I started to realize that a lot of the women who had started coming to the circles regularly were, for one, other moms. I just had found out that I was going to be a new mom. And then also that a lot of the women were healers of different kinds, yoga teachers, Reiki masters, hypnotherapists, things like that, massage therapists. And so when we went to Shasta, we were talking about like, wouldn't it be great if we all had this like collective space that we could rent together, that we could all share our special offerings and do the moon circles there. And there were a handful of women that were interested in that idea. And then a few months later, we met another woman, and she's a sound healer, and she was invited to come do a sound healing for one of our full moons, I think. And it was the most magical thing I had ever experienced up until that time. And she became a really important person in my life since then. And so when we met her, then we started, just like around that time, started getting more serious about looking for a place to rent. And I found a place in McKinleyville, a small little studio, and the rent was like unheard of. Like you can't even rent a room for that price. And it had a wall of mirrors, and it was kind of like not off the beaten path, but like not very easily seen from the main road that it was right next to. And so it kind of happened that three of us kind of came together and were like, just like, all right, let's like do this. And for some reason, it just felt like it was supposed to be the three of us. And so that was me, Monique, and Chazelle. And we just united forces and we made it happen. And so we had been talking about like, what would we call the space? And I had two names that I picked. One was the Sacred Space, and one was the Crystalline Collective. And everyone loved the Crystalline Collective. And so we went with that name, and that's what we decided to call it. And to me, the collective really felt like the group of healers, the group of healing women. That was, in my mind, that was what the collective really was. And so we, got the studio ready. Me and Monique and Giselle just poured our hearts into creating this beautiful space with a bunch of beautiful stuff from our houses. And we made it really nice and cozy and beautiful. And then people immediately wanted to start using the space, other people. And so because we were paying rent, we had to figure out how to let them use the space and, give us something in exchange for that. So we started to have to operate as a business. And then we decided to just go ahead and create a business. And then we started, so we had to try to figure out how to be a business when we didn't intend on that really. It was just like gonna be a space for us all to use for our healing offerings. And then so we were figuring out as we went, and we figured out how to let people rent from us. And then so it was just different because, like I said, we didn't have that initial let's be a business. But when we decided to create a Google business page so that people could find us and we could actually reach more people and kind of grow our community, we decided to call ourselves a yoga studio because we did have a lot of people coming wanting to teach yoga there. And I always felt like it was more of a healing center. That's really what I saw it as, and what I kind of, wanted it to be was more about healing offerings. But we decided to go with yoga studio because we thought that it would reach more people. We thought that more people would be searching on Google for a yoga studio versus a healing center. And so that's what we chose. And personally, for me, in hindsight, I kind of wish that we had gone with a healing center. It felt in my heart like it really was, because then that probably would have attracted the right kind of people, even though, maybe more people are looking for a yoga studio, but that's fine. That really wasn't what I felt like we were. So anyway, we can't go back and do it over again. But so then we were offering the moon circles and other healing offerings and yoga, and then lots of people started coming wanting to teach yoga and do other events, and Giselle was doing sound healings. And she and Graham, Monique's husband, formed a beautiful sound healing band, actually. He plays the handpan, and Giselle does her amazing magical everything, crystal singing bowls, and she does light language channeling, which is just the most amazing thing that I've ever heard come out of someone's mouth before. And she sings really beautifully, and she has other instruments. They have a lot of more instruments now, and then they have another band member now, and he plays didgeridoo and guitar and other things, so they've got a magical thing going on. But Monique and Giselle and I felt like we needed to create an offering that was all three of our special things combined. So my specialty, if you will, is relaxation. So I really like to lead restorative yoga classes. That's my favorite type of class to lead when I do teach yoga. It's restorative yoga. I love to have people lay down on the floor, get nice and relaxed, and just end the class with people feeling like they just took a nice long nap, because everybody needs to take a nap more often. And so one of the main thing that I like to do at the end of the yoga class, the restorative yoga class, is to do what's called yoga nidra. And I actually did a episode a couple of times ago that is a yoga nidra guided meditation. So if you haven't checked that out, Go check that out. It is very stress relieving, and everybody needs more stress relief. So so that's my specialty, is like relaxation and the yoga nidra specifically. And then Monique does Himalayan Kundalini, which is life-changing practice that really helps to unblock stuck energies in the body and really get things moving as far as like chi flow, prana flow, all of that, and life force energy. And and then Chazelle with her sound healing. So we crafted an offering where Monique does, it's called a soul activation experience, and Monique starts us off with a set of kriyas, Himalayan Kundalini kriyas, and then everybody lays down and Chazelle blesses us with her beautiful vibrations, and then I finish us off with a yoga nidra guided meditation. And so this 3-part offering is the soul activation. And we started doing that monthly at the studio. And then we wanted to expand into the community and kind of start collaborating with other healing offering spaces, things like that. And so we did an event at the Thing in Arcata, and on the plaza. If you're not familiar, they've got a cool vibe going on over there. So we did an event, a soul activation there, and that night, when we met up to do the soul activation, Chazelle was telling me that she had a dream, a really scary dream the night before. And Monique had also had a really scary dream that same night. And I was experiencing, I'm breastfeeding, so, and I still was at the time, I would have like clogged milk ducts from time to time. It doesn't happen so much anymore, maybe because my milk flows a lot less, but anyhow, I would have clogged milk ducts, and it would really freak me out, and I didn't like it when that would happen. And so that actually happened the day that we were supposed to do this event at the Thing, and I remember having the thought come into my mind, like, maybe I should just cancel this event, maybe I should stay home and rest and like not do it. And then I realized that I might be being psychically attacked. And if you're not familiar with psychic attacks, go check out my well, she's not a personal friend of mine, but I feel like she's my friend because I love her so much and I follow her weekly on YouTube. Her name is Elizabeth April. She has amazing ascension information, and I just love everything that she talks about. So if you're ready to get your mind blown, I should say, go check her out because she's got some mind-blowing content. Anyhow, she talks about psychic attacks, and they can come in different ways, but they can come through a physical means in the body, and then that physical thing causing you to have some mental thing going on, which is what I was experiencing, right? I had this like clogged milk duct, but I was also, it was causing me to think maybe I should just not do this event. And that's how I knew that it was a psychic attack. And then that combined with Chazelle and Monique having those scary dreams, that made me realize that we were kind of all being psychically attacked. And the reason for a psychic attack in this situation was to try to stop us from doing this event. And I'm trying to remember exactly how it all played out, but I think it was like the night that we did the event, Chazelle had this dream, and she has amazing dreams. She's like a very visual, like cerebral almost, I think that's the right word, dreamer, where like lucid dreaming, it feels like it's really happening. And she has a lot of prophetic dreams actually. But the dream that she had that night was about this energy center out off of the ocean, off the coast between McKinleyville and Trinidad. Like if you just go straight out into the ocean from there. And from her dream, she felt like we had, by doing that soul activation that night at the thing, we had activated this energy center. And this was like so exciting to me because I just, love that type of stuff and just love when these magical things happen, totally spirit guided and everything. And then this was around the time that I had just gotten into doing quantum soul alchemy sessions. I still was learning a lot, and I still am always learning a lot about what I'm doing, but this was the very beginning stages of that learning process. So I was doing sessions with people. I think this was the second session that I had done with Monique, was that following weekend or whatever, like within a week of the soul activation at the thing, I did the second session with Monique. Not the second session I had ever done, but her second session. And during that session, and Monique is also super visually tapped in, so she can see lots of visuals, and she had a really interesting experience during this session. And I'm not supposed to disclose specifics of what people experience during their sessions to keep that confidentiality, but I'll just say that basically we were able to confirm what Chazelle's dream had said. And yeah, I wish I could say more. I'll have to ask for permission from Monique if I can share more about that at another time. But yeah, it was so magical. And yeah, I just was like amazed by this experience. It felt so profound, and really, I just feel honored to be able to be in these types of situations. And it just feels like, I don't know, it just lights up my heart. Obviously, I'm like smiling so big because it's just like, it's so exciting, and it's so cool, and it makes life so magical to have these amazing experiences, and to be sharing them with these amazing women that I feel so blessed to call my best friends is like, I never dreamed that this would be my life, and it's so special. Thank you, Spirit. And yeah, so I feel like that was really what we came together to do, the three of us, through this whole adventure of the Crystalline Collective. And it goes on from there. After that point, we wanted to expand, and we wanted a bigger location. Monique wanted to do aerial yoga and all of these things, and we wanted to be more, we wanted to be in Arcata and closer to more people and have better access to our studio. So we moved to Arcata, and it didn't end up working out because of finances. We just weren't able to keep the studio open. It was cost too much to run, and it wasn't making money. But so all of that being said, I really feel like something changed after we did that soul activation at the thing. And when I found out, about the energy center being activated, it was like, I just think that that's really what our work was. The three of us came together in this lifetime to do that. That was like part of our mission, and our friendship is not over, and we're going to continue to be friends probably for a lifetime. I would hope so. But I think that, and there's a lot more to come, I'm sure. We're going to do more work together for sure. But that felt like, one of the most, if not the most important thing that we're going to do together. and this is just my personal experience, this is not I'm trying to word things in a way that is not speaking for them or speaking about their thoughts and feelings about the situation. I'm doing my best to just like state facts about what happened, as far as when I'm including things about them. But for me, this is how I interpreted this. This is how I felt about that experience. And I'm not sure if that's how they feel, but that's okay if they don't. But this feels really real for me, and it just feels, like I said, so special and so magical. And yeah, I just wanted to share this story because it's really a story about letting spirit lead the way. And I didn't even share about how the Crystalline Collective, it just happened so easily. When we went to go rent that studio, the first place in McKinleyville, it all happened so quickly and so easily, and it felt like we were just being, guided and just shown the way, and like made way for us. Like spirit just made way for this to happen. It felt like, and so this story, that's what this story is about for me. It's about living life in a spirit-led way and really working from the heart center, letting the heart guide the way. And when you can do that, and you can connect with spirit and really open up to all possibilities, like when I think about it, I mean, I had the desire at one point to have a studio of sorts and to have a place like we created, but I had no idea that that's how it was going to happen. You know what I mean? It was just, so that's kind of one of the pieces of manifestation and how we create our reality, how it's a co-creation between us and spirit, that I've been really trying to tap into more, and to really let spirit lead the way, really to put out those intentions and plant those seeds within, in order, and then to just let go kind of, and let spirit really come through and guide the way. I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but that's really what this was about for me. And so something that I'm trying to continue to allow myself to do, because it's so hard the way that we're raised in this society. We feel like we have to go out and make things happen. Yes, we need to like take aligned action, but I feel like there's so much of like forcing things to happen that people really try to do, that actually ends up repelling the thing that you want. And I've learned about that recently by reading a book called Power versus Force, actually, which is a really great book. Still working on finishing it. It's a thick one, but so good. And yeah, just really stepping into that powerful place, which is being your true authentic self, and letting that magnetize what your desired life to you, rather than trying to force things to happen, because forcing things never ends up working out. You actually get something that you don't want most times. And so really just like, planting those seeds, putting those intentions out there, and then letting the inklings come to you, the guidance, the inner guidance coming through your intuition. I have this quote coming through that is from another book by Florence Scovel Shinn, another life-changing book of a similar topic that I'm talking about. And she says, when you pray, it's like you are telephoning to God, and when you receive intuitive hits, it's like God is telephoning to you. And I love that. And so you can replace God with spirit, source, creator, whatever. That's what I do. That's what God is to me. And those that praying aspect is like the intention setting that I'm talking about. Putting those seeds out there. and then having that intuition come through, that's the inner guidance and telling you where to go, what to do, what steps to take moving forward. And so that is why I'm here on camera tonight doing this video for you, along with the audio, obviously, because that's how you do a video. Because I'm trying to follow that inner guidance and doing those scary things, even though yeah, it's scary, but it's also really fun when your dreams come true. So that feels like a good note to end on. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Speaking of Spirituality. If you'd like to connect with me personally or book a session for Quantum Soul Alchemy, you can find me on Instagram at Ascending with Amelia. Have a beautiful day.